Hello and welcome to Low Budget Gaming and welcome to another first Descendant video. So I wanted to make a complete guide to Freyna, Ultimate Freyna. I'll cover 3 of her builds, main gun for her right now because Fallen Hope got a buff and that has become the main gun for her now. We also have external components and things like that. The reason I'm making this video as an all-in-one type of video is because Freyna got a buff recently and I don't expect another change or rework to her for at least 2-3 months. Any major rework basically, and also I don't expect any new systems to be added to the game, things like ancestors modules or trigger modules, again at least for another 2-3 months. So this could be a good all-in-one reference for the various builds that you can use with Freyna. Now why use multiple builds with Freyna? Simply because her Contagion works better for lower end content, and things like the Venom injection build and the Stimulation build works better for endgame stuff. If you use the Venom injection for 400%, it's not as good as the Contagion. So all of our builds are very viable. The Stimulation works well with the group play. So if you have teammates, you can use the Toxic Stimulation. If you're solo grinding hard any game stuff, you can use the Venom injection. And if you're just farming for amorphous materials in the 400% dungeons, you can use the Contagion because that is the most efficient there. Another reason is Freyna is kind of popular. I often see comments for her all the time, and this is an interesting example here of a comment. So they say here, I just started playing and have her. Can I safely main and invest in her without hurting my account too bad? I'm not looking to super meta game and have the strongest character, but I want her to be at least a solid, strong character. And yes, she's a very solid, strong character. If you use the correct build, she can cover all the mobbing content from the early hard mode stuff all the way up to the end game Forbidden Sanctuary. She can cover all those things comfortably. So I'll cover the 3 builds here. I'll give you my recommendations for the ancestors modules and external components and things like that. So let's start with the Contagion. Now these mods here, these 4 and these 4, these are common across all 3 of them because again these are the main modules that you use. We use mid-air maneuvering for the grapple. Focus on tech amplification, power increase, toxic amplification, MP conversion, nimble fingers, skill expansion. These mods, if you remove these here and keep Contagion, this is good enough for Contagion because Contagion is a build that was used when we just got hard mode. We don't need ancestors module, we don't need a trigger module, and this will be good enough for 400% Sigma sector, special operations. This will be perfectly fine even without these mods. But if you have the space, you can add a few more mods. You can add MP collector here, again not needed because you don't need to spam your skills too much with Contagion. But if you have a low cooldown and you keep spamming, you can use this one here so that you don't run out of MP. You can use skill extension so you have more duration on your skills, so you do continuous damage. Your ticks will last longer and you'll do more damage. And for the trigger module, we are going with Power Beyond because this works with the ground dot skills. Freyna uses ground dot on her 3rd and her 1st skill. So this will be handy. Plus you get a flat 15% skill power increase as well. So Power Beyond is excellent for that. Now, when it comes to ancestors modules for the Contagion, you don't really need anything. You don't really need the ancestors module, to be fair. But if you are going to get something, just try to get tech power boost ratio. That is your main thing that you would want for this build here. So that is your Contagion build, excellent for 400% farming your amorphous materials, special operations to farm things like the time shards that we have right now. You can do Sigma sector, you can level up guns faster with Freyna just by running this setup and leveling up the guns faster and things like that. Okay, so next up we look at toxic stimulation. Now, a few things change here. Once again, we have the main mods are exactly the same. The trigger mod changes to infected weapon because this is a new one designed for our 4th. This will do a lot of damage. So you will do quite a lot of damage to big single targets like the tyrants that you get in the Axiom Plains or the bosses in the Forbidden Sanctuary. These mods here change a little bit. So I've put a 2nd range mod so that you can cover the maximum range with your toxic skills. This is not like Contagion, so this will not spread around as much. So we use the amplification control. I'm using Decimator. You can use HP here. HP would be better because toxic stimulation is a good module for group play. So you don't want to be too squishy and get knocked. In fact, you may need to revive your teammates. So go with HP here. The toxic stimulation is good for end game and also good, like I said, with your teammates. So this second ability, this gives you plague body armor. What plague body armor does is when an enemy attacks you, when you have this up, they will get infected by room zero trauma and then they'll die. This will also give room zero trauma to your teammates. This also gives you more defense nowadays, and also they have buffed her to give you more skill duration with the second ability. So toxic stimulation will give you more defense, will give you more plague body armor, and your teammates will get plague body armor. So you will be doing second-hand damage. So VSA over here, if an enemy attacks her, she will also inflict room zero trauma on that enemy. So you're doing second-hand damage basically. For the Ancestors module, you want tech skill power. Once again, that is the best option. You can have toxic skill power as well. Cooldown will be handy because it will be a nice setup for your nice balance for your skills. So you won't have to lower the cooldown too much with focus on toxic. You can use power increase. So if you can get at least 9% here on the cooldown, you will be able to do a lot more damage because you'll have the fourth available to you all the time, or at least as frequently as you can. So you can see here the cooldown base is 110. We have reduced it by 90%. So 90% is the most we can drop it by. So you'll have your fourth ability available every 11 seconds, which is very handy against the harder, tougher bosses and the enemies. So you want cooldown here so that you can have the most power with power increase and also have the cooldown. So tech power and cooldown will be the two main things that you want on this one. So I would use this build here for, again, like I said, most of the endgame stuff. So if you're using this in the new medium-sized facility, Void Vessel, in the Axian Plains, in the Forbidden Sanctuary, the Supermassive, this will work everywhere. And this will also be good with teammates because you have HP and you will also be giving your teammates some buffs as well. And then finally, we have the, you could say, the super sweaty Venom injection. This would be ideal in a solo setup and running the hard stuff at the end, like the Forbidden Sanctuary. I only really use this in the Forbidden Sanctuary. You get more power. You'll be able to take out the two sort of mini bosses in the dungeon, all three of the bosses basically, the Tyrant at the beginning, alternate hand of Nazistra, and the abandoned fusion form. So you'll be able to take them out much more efficiently with this build because you'll do more damage. So with this one, we build around the shield. So again, we have the same stuff here. We put shield here and overwhelming shield here. So your HP gets fixed to 1, and so you only have shield, but you'll have like 10, 11,000, and that will be enough to clear that content. And you have to keep this up all the time, the second ability. And as long as you have MP, you'll be doing more damage. So you'll have to keep an eye on the MP drops, pick them up, and that way you'll do a lot of damage. So yeah, so this would be something I'll use only solo and only in the hard, difficult stuff. You don't really need to use something this powerful for the Axian Plains or something. You can also use this for the Void Erosion Purge 10. That is also another good mission to take advantage of this build. All right, now the external components, ideal one for Freyna would be the Plague set. You get this in the Broken Boundary. The roles, as usual, you want HP and MP recovery out of combat on the auxiliary. For the sensor, you want max MP and MP recovery in combat. For the memory, you want MP recovery modifier and defense. For the processor, you want max shield and shield recovery modifier. In the course, the two on the top, you want HP and defense on all four of them. Very simple. Now, if you're early in the game, or let's say early in the hard difficulty, and you haven't reached Sigma sector, you won't be able to get this one. In that case, you can go with the Slayer set. So you get the Slayer set from the Pyromaniac Hard Colossus, and again, go for the same roles. And this way, you'll have a decent build. If you're using the Plague set, you'll get more skill power. So make sure to use focus on toxic instead of power increase when you're using the Slayer set. But yeah, Plague set is overall slightly better because you get a lot more toxic power from this one. Okay, next we have the Reactor. We use the Toxic Mechanics Reactor. This is the same one. You enhance it to 5 times or as many levels as you can. You can see I have 5 levels here. You can start off with 2 levels and then increase it when you have the resources. The main 2 options you want here are tech skill power boost ratio and skill cooldown. After this, we have the inversion reinforcement. So over here, we want focus boost to reduce the cost. And over here, we have selective neurostimulation. This will increase the MP. These are the 2 main things you would need with Freyna. And then we use deploy hardened shell, basically to reduce the incoming damage. After this, you would reach the Sigma sector and unlock the Arche Tuning. So for Arche Tuning, you want these skills here, the skill power here. We take the skill cost reduction and the MP recovery out of combat. We take the skills in the middle. We take the range here. We take the skill and the enhanced skill. MP, cooldown. We go here, take the skills, and then the Mutant Cell. This is like a new one, Putrid Zone. If you can get this one, use this one. If you haven't reached the stuff where you can get this, I think this drops in the Supermassive, I think. You can use Toxic Chain Catalyst. So this will give this will reduce the enemy's resistance to toxic by 20%. So this is a very handy one, you can use this. But the Putrid Zone can give you a maximum of 35% reduction to toxic for the enemies. So if you can get the Putrid Zone, use this one. Now this will be common across the 3 builds. You can use the same setup on all 3 of them. So I've covered that. The only thing remaining is the gun. So the Fallen Hope got a buff recently. The game has been out for like, I don't know, 18 months or something. For 17 of those months, we used the Secret Garden. But this month, Fallen Hope got buffed, and now this is Freyna's main gun. Because what this does is when you're using your skills, it increases your toxic power by 95%. So you see those 2 skulls. If you have those skulls up, especially the middle one with the 5 stacks, you get 95% more skill power, toxic skill power. So this is normally 1.286, but if you have the 5 stacks while you're using your skills, you get 95% more toxic power. You can see this has dropped down to 1.286 just by holding the gun. And the gun also gets buffs when you are using skills. So the gun is powerful anyway. Now, one more thing regarding the gun. Freyna's 4th ability over here, you need to have 5 cores on the gun that you're holding. So you need to put the various cores on it. And also the 4th core, if you see, increases the rounds per magazine on your 4th ability, the unique weapon. Now the unique weapon starts off with 50 shots, and then you get 80% from having 4 cores. So another 40. You can add another 100% or another 50 basically using a combination of rounds per magazine, 12% on your options, and these 2 mods here. So this will give you 49%, this will give you 39%, and over here you can get a maximum of 12%. So you can get up to 140. So 50 default, 40 from the 80% for having 4 cores, and then 100% from these 3. So 39, 49, and 12, 100%. So 50, 50, and 40. You'll get a maximum of 140. So if I use my 4th here, you can see I have 140 bullets. And this is enough to take out like 4 or 5 vulgar ships at the same time with like 1 mag. Anyway, so the gun build, with the options you want firearm attack, multi-hit damage, rounds per magazine, and additional weapon attack. Versus Legion of Breach, you can go with Legion of Order of Truth, or you can go with weak point, you can go with toxic. The 4th one is kind of flexible. Now regarding the rounds per magazine, 12% will give you the maximum, but if you don't get 12%, don't worry too much. If you get anything gold, you'll probably be 1 or 2 bullets short. That is about it. 1 bullet probably. So if you are bothered by seeing 139 instead of 140, then try to get the 12% first before rolling the others. So roll your fine adjustment until you get 12%, lock that, and then get the others. But 1 bullet isn't going to make a huge difference, so don't worry too much about it, like me. Now for the cores, you have in the free core, you have firearm attack. You can go with toxic attack if you want. In the second one, you have firearm attack. In the element, we have toxic. In the green one, I forgot what the green ones are called. I have fire rate 20%, and in the yellow one, the precision one, I've put sprint speed 20%. You can also put the grapple cooldown one. Either of those are fine depending on your playstyle. For the build itself, we are again building for the fourth weapon, for the unique weapon of Freyna 4 skill, and also just for the gun as well, so that if you use the gun, you'll do more damage. So this gun is a multi-hit type of gun. The highest multi-hit damage in the game is with this gun. So we build with firearm attack with rifling reinforcement, action reaction, charge amplification. Then we have multi-hit with multi-percussion sight to give you multi-hit chance. Multi-piercing sights will give you multi-hit damage, and multi-hit induction will give you multi-hit chance if you aim for the weak point and get the 10 stacks there. These two, like I said, are for the unique. And then you have toxic enhancement and fire rate up. That is all you need for the gun. I would go with the MP dog. You can also go with the HP dog if you wanted. So yeah, so that is Freyna for the various builds. I'll leave you with footage for the different builds for Contagion, Stimulation, and Venom injection. So you can check that out, use the timestamps. And yeah, that's it for this one. Thank you for watching, and wish everyone a happy holidays and a new year, and hopefully see you soon with another video.
This is your grave. How was that? Melt away. Watch your feet. Melt away. How was that? Watch your feet. You can't touch me. This is brave. Burn. Melt away. I'll dissolve you all. This is your grave. Watch your feet. You dare mess with me? Burn. Don't try it. How was that? Burn. Activating toxic veil. Melt away.
using any more soldiers for the time being. Thank you, Descendant. You're a lifesaver.
Descendant, a large cluster of breach creatures has been detected in the area. Breach creature response confirmed. Approaching location.
Burn. You're all dead.
Picking up void mutant signals. Be careful.
Shield is down.
Vulgus special assault ship identified.
Melt away.
Descendant, Vulgus comms traffic is increasing at your location. It looks like Legion of Breach troops have been deployed.
This is the end. Watch your feet. How was that?
Picking up void mutant signals. Be careful. Vulgus special assault ship identified. Descendant, requesting takedown of enemy assault ship.
Melt away.
Picking up void mutant signals. Be careful.
This is your break. Burn. Melt away.
Breach follower squad approaching in encircling formation. Respond immediately. Vulgus special assault ship spotted. Descendant, primary tactical objective confirmed in Operation Zone. Please take it out.
I will show you my wrath. Try. Activating toxic veil. How was that? This is your grave. Shield is down. How was that? Alone. Watch your feet. Melt away. Any last words? Damn it! Watch your feet. Melt away. Open fire. How was that? Watch your feet. Melt away. This is your grave. Burn. How was that? This is the end. Burn. Melt away. Watch your feet. This is your grave. Melt away. Burn. How was that? Watch your feet. This is your grave. Burn. Watch your feet. This is your grave. Time to wrap this up. How was that? Melt away. Burn. Watch your feet. How was that? Watch your feet. Burn. Melt away. This is your grave. How was that? Burn. Melt away. my